Hello, my name is Ramsey Badawi. I am a stand-up comedian. I talk about issues like politics and society and topical events, and usually I do it on stage. But today I have decided that I want to make a little bit of a video, a little bit of a video. Today I've decided I want to make a video talking about a very touchy subject, a subject that I didn't feel really right talking on stage about it because I felt like maybe the audience wasn't ready to have this conversation. Maybe I'm still figuring out some feelings on how I feel about it. And so I thought, what a fun opportunity to make a YouTube video. If you're one of my people who has followed me through my long career of inconsistent podcasting, do me a huge favor and throw me a like button. Hit the like button, throw a comment in there. Let me know that you're there for me because I am certain this video is going to get a ton of hate. And let me be honest with you, I'm going to be consumed by that hate. I know me very well. And unfortunately, I'm very sensitive when it comes to these things. I know I'm a comedian and I'm supposed to say things like, yo, you can't, the haters don't affect me. I'm the truth, but truly the haters really affect me. They affect me so much. And so, throw me a comment in there. Let me know that you're there. If you're new to the channel, if you're somebody who maybe followed me because they saw a funny stand-up clip, uh, thanks for checking the video out. If it's not for you, don't worry. I'll probably never do this again. As many of you know, Charlie Kirk was shot in the throat earlier today or yesterday, depending on when you're watching this. He was shot from what appears to be a sniper rifle or something from 200 yards away. Which is a little suspicious. I think a lot of us are a little spooked by that. But for the sake of this conversation, I am going to just pretend that the person who shot Charlie Kirk is a liberal who's really, really, really good at shooting. You know how liberals are super good at shooting. Well, he's one of those liberals. I want to start with the obvious thing, and this is something that's probably going to piss off half the audience. So if you're the half that gets pissed off by this, stick around because I think the back half is going to piss off the other half of the audience. That's how you know it's a good take. Nobody's going to be happy with what I'm about to say. I want to start by saying I do think that shooting Charlie Kirk in the throat. Okay, I don't mean to laugh at this. It's kind of funny that we exist in an era where you have to say, I think somebody getting shot in the throat is a tragedy. It's sad. It's sad for him. It's sad for his family. It's sad for his associates, his friends. I feel even deeply sad, or I feel especially sad for the people that were just in the crowd. I mean, think about how horrific that is. You're there, you're trying to have fun, and you see a man just die a horrific death. Nobody should ever see a man shot in the throat. Not in person, If you want to look up Russian dash cam videos or old ISIS videos, that's your own prerogative. But that's a person who's ready to see some shit. And that's a person who's probably dead a little bit on the inside. It's a person I can relate to. That person is probably me, but it's aside the point. Okay, now on to piss off the other half. I do want to talk about this conversation that people are having, right? Especially you're seeing it from the more conservative circles and the more, pro Charlie Kirk side of things. People are framing this as an attack on free speech. In fact, I'm a comedian. A lot of my comedian friends, they're not very smart. So they see themselves in this attack. They think this is an attack on somebody who expresses their ideas. And I don't believe that's the case. I don't believe that Charlie Kirk is a modern day Voltaire who's, pushing forward political discourse in the United States. I think the reality of Charlie Kirk is he's a man who is a professional rage baiter. That's what he does for a living. And by the way, that doesn't mean that you should get to shoot him in the throat, but let's not get it twisted. This is not a man who's sparring with intellectual heavyweights day in and day out. It's a man who's made his entire career filming himself debating hungover 19-year-olds who, by the way, let's just be fair, not the smartest guys I've seen and gals. Pretty selective in the videos that the ones that make the cuts. But he's debating these 19-year-olds who are like hungover and have like 2 hours of sleep and have read like one book in their whole lives. And they don't look healthy and they look like there's nothing but red dye 40 coursing through their veins. He debates them and edits them into videos with crazy titles like Top 5 Craziest Liberals Charlie Kirk Owned This Semester. Charlie Kirk Takes a Flamethrower to Lib Snowflakes. Charlie Kirk Goes Full Oppenheimer and Drops a Nuke on Pro-Choice Nonsense. And when he's not doing that, he's hucking something called Patriot 5G cell phone service. That's not a reason to shoot somebody. It's not. It is a reason to punch them in the face or slap them or twist their nipple, something innocuous, but not a reason to kill somebody. But I do want to emphasize, this is not William F. Buckley or Richard Dawkins or Christopher Hitchens we're talking about, or even Sam Harris, who I don't care for, if I'm being completely honest. But I can respect that Sam Harris doesn't do this nonsense. We're talking about a guy who has enriched himself, devolving political discourse in this country to the lowest common denominator. I mean, he's really enriched himself. According to CelebrityNetWorth.com, Charlie Kirk is worth $12 million. And according to the Associated Press, in 2023, Kirk has 3 properties, all valued at over $1 million, and he possesses a $4.75 million Spanish-style estate in a gated Arizona golf club community. I don't know what that means, but it was reported by the AP. This is not a First Amendment issue because the government didn't kill Charlie Kirk. Maybe. We don't know. If the civilian narrative turns out to be true, then Charlie Kirk died because he chose to enrich himself leveraging an algorithm that promoted his material and his content to a large number of people based on its inflammatory nature. And while it's not how it ought to be, a consequence of super inflammatory content constantly being put into the face of lots of people is your content might find its way repeatedly interacting with a very mentally unwell person or persons. And those persons might be really, really good shots, like extraordinary shots. If the civilian narrative is true, then the real tragedy with Charlie Kirk is that he died falling victim, to a political climate that he cultivated. This is not a popular opinion, and I'm not saying it's how things ought to be, but it's how things are. If you want to make millions and millions of dollars saying crazy shit about things that are incredibly important to people's lives and their livelihood, well, you run the risk of agitating very mentally unwell people. And some of those people might be very, very good shots. People are trying to frame it like all Charlie Kirk ever did was, disavow abortion and, talk about the value of marriage and Christian society. But in reality, what he said was obviously so much more inflammatory than that. Charlie Kirk said shit like, I don't think Palestine exists. It's called Judea and Samaria. In the middle of a genocide, mind you. Transsexuals are a throbbing middle finger to God and an abomination. Islam is a sword the left is using to slit the throat of America. And, quote, it's brought to you by the secular humanist European technocratic elites. And the list goes on and on and on. You're talking about things that matter intensely, like immigration and religion and, healthcare. People's universes were shook up by the things that Charlie Kirk would discuss on a daily basis, and the way he would approach them was with such a lack of civility. And sadly, the truth is, when you approach these subjects with discourse that lacks civility, it begets an uncivil response. And it's not something that I think is fair. It's not something that I think I want to see, but it's something that happens. It's the reality of the world that we live in. If you want to shout a racial slur at a black guy, and if he wants to punch you in the face right after that, do I think you deserve to lose sight in your left eye, or do I think you deserve to, incur a incredibly costly, health bill or whatever? Probably you do deserve it, but the point that I'm trying to make is there are consequences that are had in the real world. And some of those consequences are illogical and nonsensical, like you get shot at a rally. But they exist, and it's a risk you take when you decide that that's how you want to make your fortune. It's important to note here, Charlie Kirk was not working for free and was not donating his time to try to, further his cause. He was grifting. It's unfortunate, but I don't know what else to call a guy who sells Patriot cell phone service. I don't think he should have died. I don't think he should have been killed. But I especially don't think that this conversation should be centered around whether or not the First Amendment is in trouble. The conversation should be centered around the existential threat to our society and our democracy caused by guys like Kirk and Shapiro when they decide to, pursue this lucrative career in political theater. Unless it turns out the government killed Charlie Kirk, then just throw everything I said right out the window. I'm just a guy talking shit. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Feel free to let me know what you think below. Am I full of shit? Is this First Amendment threat real? I don't know. Weigh in. I got nothing to do. I'll read what you got to say. I might even respond. If you liked what you saw and you're not subscribing, please subscribe. Please subscribe. I can't talk. Who gives a shit? Other than that, I will try to make more of these videos in the future. It was kind of fun making this video. Peace be unto the Prophet. Assalamu alaikum.